Back. Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
Michelle. Rory knows just less than Michelle.
All right, it's okay. We'll get people to come back in. They'll see that we're live. Welcome back. Go ahead and hit us in the comments again. We are still live. We were talking about tight ends and free agency. We are going to move on to the next topic.
We got two in.
Just relax. It'll be all right. We'll just talk.
Okay.
So our next topic is going to be... I'll skip a topic and we'll actually go to topic 4. Does the Carson Wentz trade impact Darnold's value?
Does the Carson? No. I think it stays where it is. I don't think it necessarily does bad to or negatively impacts where it was before in terms of Sam's. If anything, I would say it actually. I think it actually could have boosted Sam's, but I think Sam stays the same where he was. So if he was a first round if teams perceived him as a late first round or second round worthy pick or trade offer, then he stays there. If teams saw him as a third or worse, then he stays there. So I say that because it wasn't exactly 100%. I don't think any of us, both me and you and the chat, really agreed with what his trade value was realistically. So I think me and you have talked about his trade value being optimistically high.
I agree.
And then the chat, if I remember correctly, and I'm backing you up, chat, so remember that. Chat said that me and you were too high, that more realistically, most teams out there would see him, based on last season especially, would see him as a third or later pick.
I think is...
What do we have?
Grant, that was a huge buzzkill. I'm not going to lie. We were having a ball over
I
here.
want to say, though, before we knew that the stream cut out, Grant, when I read your comment about Penny, this is what you get, Mike, when you draft Penny Sewell. The internet hates you. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah,
man.
that was hilarious.
That shit was hilarious.
Yes.
So thank you. I don't want you to think I didn't see it, because I did, and it didn't sting, Grant. I'm living through it. I'm more powerful.
The Penny Sewell pick sucked. And you were the reason. It was the reason it cut out.
I'm glad you guys are back. Joe's in chat.
Yep.
What's up, Joe? Sorry. Everyone goes through it. If you stream on this stuff, you wouldn't believe, well, from our standpoint, how much more complicated and technical this stuff is. So we actually don't know what happened, but
yeah,
we're glad you guys are back.
Yes, it may have been just a matter of my computer maybe overheating. I cut some of my tabs, so I think we're okay. So all is well, and we're back, so it's all good. Yeah, I don't really have much to add on the Carson Wentz trade.
Do you agree with me? Do you think it didn't really do anything plus or minus to Darnold's trade value?
I think Darnold could fetch a second round pick. I think that's what we're looking at.
Is that where you're landing now?
And that's why I think Joe Douglas might not draft Zach Wilson. We took a caller earlier from Anthony, and again, Anthony, thank you so much for calling. Yeah. Glad you got the joke.
Of course I got the joke.
So yeah, I feel like if Darnold only fetches a second, or maybe less, I think that's when Joe Douglas is going to be like, this is not good value, I'll just keep him. Or trade him.
See, here's the thing, Jet fans, is I know a lot of you, including Anthony who called, is ready to move on from Sam. And I'd be lying to you if I said there wasn't days or parts of my day where I feel the same. However, given an actual coach and actually Joe Douglas having the opportunity to do what he does best, which is to put opportunities on the field for Sam. I'm not saying Sam's our quarterback for the 22 season. But what I'm saying is there a strategy where they would stick with Sam with the conditional assumption that he would be better with leadership and increase his trade value for the 22 offseason?
It's possible. It's very possible. So we're going to go ahead and move off of the Wentz trade topic. Say again?
You fixed the mic?
Yeah, I just turned it up a little bit. We're good. It's hitting up now. So the next topic, and it's going to be the last topic of the night. Thank you for coming back. If you did come back, we appreciate you guys. So the last topic of the night is just best, worst New York Jets draft picks of all time. And it's going to kind of like a light note to end the stream on.
It's the best topic.
It can be a little.
Like Christmas.
It can be a little painful looking backwards.
I find it more comedic now, more humorous. I've owned the role as a Jet fan that we will always make history in the draft for the worst reasons.
Yeah, no, I do not enjoy the fact that we're a bad drafting team. I feel like if there was one aspect of our franchise...
What do you think that is?
Bad...
I'm taking the stream off on a tangent just for the shits and giggles of it because we only have 3 viewers. Where do you think... Why? Where did it start? Obviously, it started probably, you could say, with the O'Brien pick.
What started? Bad
in
picks?
terms of the Jets going down as a famous bad picking team. Because of the fact that we passed on Marino.
They took Johnny Lamb Jones. I don't know what draft that was. It may have been the 70s. Johnny Lamb Jones was a bad pick. Jeff Lageman was a bad pick.
But I think we entered that immortal status when we were like seen as the team that passed on Marino.
Sure. That was a bad look, for sure.
And we've only made it worse, obviously.
Yeah.
And where do you think that is just... I mean, I've never really been confident in our scouting team. And that obviously is the direct reflection of our general manager. What's up?
He said, you got to find humor in this team because you'd jump off the roof if you didn't.
You know it, Joe.
That's the truth. Yeah, so what's your...
I'm just saying we had a topic, 2 or 3 weeks ago about the front office and why there's lack of jobs when Chad was here.
Just bad general managers. That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking back at Tannenbaum, for example.
He wasn't bad in the draft. He just was too aggressive. He traded everything.
I agree.
And overpaid for people.
But I would actually say he was better in free agency with his negotiation tactics than he was potentially as a scout.
I'm not saying he was awful. He just wasn't a great drafter. Or excuse me, he wasn't a great...
he was great in the free agency.
And he was good in the draft, dude. He drafted a ton of good players.
I mean, he drafted Darrelle Revis.
He drafted Mangold. He drafted... He drafted those dudes. He was on those drafts.
I would just love to know general managers' philosophies when it comes to their scouting teams. Because that's really where the metal meets the road. Is how they pick up their scouts. What do they look for in a scout?
Best pick, Namath. Worst pick, the rest of the team. Or the rest of them, excuse me, the rest of them. Yeah.
Well, let's get into the best picks. Let's go to that. Because everyone knows the worst. We'll get to the worst. Go ahead with some of the best picks that we said.
So we said Darrelle Revis is obviously one of the greatest Jets draft picks of all time. He might be the best draft pick. And it's like, again, it's value. They got him in the middle of the second, or excuse me, middle of the first round, excuse me. Yeah.
Back you.
They traded ahead of Pittsburgh, who was rumored to want him, and that's where he came out of college, was Pitt. And so it was a very slick move of Tannenbaum to trade up like that and get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drafted Darrelle Revis. Like, there's no taking that away from Tannenbaum. He drafted
absolutely.
Nick Mangold. He drafted DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
He drafted Mark Sanchez.
He drafted David Harris. Don't listen to him. I don't know what he's talking about. Mark Sanchez was a bust. So, yeah, some of my best ones, I would say those guys are, like, the very elite of elite.
You want to go back a little bit? So, like, go...
Yeah.
This was something that me and John were talking about off cam before the stream, which was the O'Brien pick, and obviously going down in history for the pick that overlooked Marino, but putting yourself in that times, of course, that brings in. You talked to your dad about it. I talked to my dad about it, and both of those individuals, from their perspective, living through that period of time. Was that given the information that fans had...
That's right. I'm highlighting my own chat. What of it? Go ahead.
Given the information that they would have had in the 70s when they made that pick, O'Brien perhaps isn't as bad of a pick.
The 70s.
Or what I'm saying.
That was in the 80s.
80s, sorry. O'Brien wasn't as bad of a pick as it looks now.
He was not a terrible quarterback. It's like you said.
Because you didn't know what Marino was going to do.
Well, a lot of people wanted Marino, though.
I know. Just like Grant Root says, we drafted Kelly over Warren Sapp.
Yeah. Jason Rhodes is in the house. What's up, fella?
What's up, man?
I gotta get a beer because I can't properly cheers you.
You gotta get 2.
Alright. Continue, read the chat.
What we got in here? Let's catch up. Let's have a little mic and chat time. Let's see. Where did you leave off, John? Yep, we got best pick, Namath. You've already read that. Tannenbaum, possibly the best GM Jets ever had in my lifetime. Grant, I mean, it's too early. Joe D's just getting into it, but I was a pretty big fan of Tannenbaum, so I agree with you. Revis Mangold, Vernon Goldston, third pick. That was a great pick. Don't get me wrong. Didn't we also draft Quebec though?
No, he was undrafted.
Oh,
But
he was
yes,
undrafted.
but it picked
Well,
up
we picked him
nonetheless.
up. I'm
Yep.
still counting it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You can say that because they scouted him.
We had Busted Knuckles Joe. The Jets, as of late, had a bunch of really good undrafted free agent pickups. I'm trying to think what's our best undrafted free agent pickup.
Just Jason Rhodes. Glad you like the koozie.
Did you get me one?
Oh, I didn't. Sorry. You'll have to get yours yourself. Sorry. What was the question?
The best multiple one or more undrafted free agent pickups
Undrafted for the Jets?
for the Jets.
Oh, well, I'm just going back to the best draft pick. So John Abraham was a really great draft pick. Sean Ellis was a good draft pick as well. That 2000 draft class was actually pretty good. Chad Pennington was a good draft pick as well. Of those 4 first-round picks that year, Becht was really the only one that was kind of like, eh. He didn't really have a lot of explosiveness to him. He was a really good blocker, though, so you couldn't really take that away from him. Best undrafted players for the Jets? Dude, I don't even know if there's that many. Who do you know?
Well, no, I was just reading a comment. That was Joe's comment.
I have no idea. Oh, yeah, Robbie Anderson. That's true. Yep. Good comment right there. I completely forgot he was undrafted at a Temple. You really cool. You guys do the koozie thing. Thanks for reaching out. Yeah, Grant. No worries, dude. Yeah, that's what we're trying. Just like we trying to want to interact with you guys. We want to make a community of Jets football fans. I mean, that's really what this is all about. It's not really just us in here. It's for you guys as well. Like that's part of what we want to do.
Yeah.
So
We still find it as engaging and somewhat exciting as we did the 6 weeks ago. So, that's a testament to you guys.
Keyshawn Johnson's a good call. He was not a bad player at all. He wasn't necessarily number 1 overall great, but he was definitely a good wide receiver for a long time. The Idzik 12 said those 12 players were drafted and then they were gone in a blink of an eye. They disappeared faster than a drink of water in the desert. Mm-hmm. They were gone. Oh my bad, undrafted. Okay, cool. So let's go to the worst draft picks.
Let's go with with I think he's both our number 1 worst pick overall, but
do you want me to announce him?
I'll do the drum roll.
Vernon Goldston, defensive end, Ohio State.
Absolutely the worst pick Jets have ever done.
Yes,
absolutely.
And you want to get into why?
I think let me just start with the worst pick, but also the most disappointing because I was with this man when we drafted Vernon Goldston. And I don't think I was more excited of a player. I think I followed college sports the most that season and was tracking Vernon before the draft. And I think he had the nickname, at least in my memory he did, as he was called the Hulk. And I remember the news outlet saying he was more Bruce Banner than he was the Hulk. But I remember his combine. And I think he set the record or matched the record for the number of 225 bench reps.
I don't think he set it, but he was a beast.
I think it was in the 30s.
I think it was high 30s. Yeah, I was going to say like 36, 38, yeah, something like
36.
That. He repped out on the bench, and he was a physical specimen.
And he had those genetics. Like, there's some people who walk around us who have the vascularity to be a bodybuilder. And he probably had the same amount of muscle or less than a James Harrison did on Pitt, but the vascularity of him made him look like a Greek god. Very similar to Thomas Jones. If everyone ever remembers that Thomas Jones picture when his first season with the Jets and the cameras called him in.
Yeah, his veins were popping. You love that.
He had massive biceps. Yeah. I'm talking massive. So very much cut from that same mold. So Vernon looked like a god. And it was just so disappointing to see what he did on the field. Like, lost and it's just embarrassing and a major disappointment. So that's my own passionate way of describing what I felt with Vernon over the course of his career.
I got you. So, so the cornerback that you're probably thinking of is D. Milner, the cornerback from Alabama, Grant.
Horrible.
He was atrocious. He got benched a bunch of times by Rex Ryan. D. Milner was just a penalty waiting to happen or a busted coverage waiting to happen. I mean, he just did not know how to play football. He was bad at football. And I don't know how he was drafted so high. He was a monstrous bust. The comment about Vernon Goldston, the only thing I really have to say about him, he was drafted to get after the quarterback and to sack the quarterback on the edge. He registered 0 sacks, not a half sack, 0 sacks in the NFL. He never sacked the quarterback in his entire NFL career.
Yeah. The only one who made him came close to actually being an NFL player was Rex. And in that first season of Rex...
He wasn't anything that first year. He didn't do shit.
Well, he had the most sacks in the preseason that he ever did.
He didn't do anything. He was a bust from the beginning. He did nothing.
I know, but he had actually got his first few preseason sacks.
He never even had a preseason sack. I don't think
he did.
He was bad.
He was bad.
He was terrible, and we all wanted him to be great, but he wasn't great. There's no real argument other than he was just a really bad football player. Overhyped, and we bit that hook, line, and sinker. Yes, big time overrated. He had injury concerns coming out of Alabama too.
We also had commitment issues coming out.
Yeah. D. Milner was the guy who pegs a mistake, but he was incredibly talented, just a wounded warrior. That's fair to say, busted knuckles.
Joe, you're giving him a lot of leeway there. I'm just
the thing is like, yeah, he was talented, I guess. But, like, there had to be some sort of mental... Like, he just didn't make smart decisions. He was constantly being penalized. Yeah. And that's not his injuries. That's just because he's a bad football player. Like
I like Jason's comment. Jason wrote, says, Milner is a plate of glass.
Yeah, Milner plate glass. D had 4 picks his rookie season. Then he got hurt. He was never the same after he tore his MCL. Hey, that's better recall than me, Joe.
Great rude. Stephen Hill, wide receiver, first round in 2016. I said Stephen Hill. I was about to say that name. I agree with you 100%.
Grant, just a quick clarification. He was a second-round pick out of Georgia Tech. He was not a first-round pick, but huge bust.
Huge.
Stephen Hill, they were comparing
Randy
him.
Moss.
No, it was Calvin Johnson, because Calvin Johnson came from Georgia Tech before him.
True, Megatron.
And they were saying how he was a tall, fast wide receiver, and he was going to be like the poor man's Calvin. And he was not. He was just Calvin Johnson.
Everything. Do you remember how much he dropped?
He dropped a lot.
He dropped every fucking pass. Reminded me of the Replacements.
Yeah.
And it did. When he had to put the freaking elephant crap on his fans.
Yeah, no worries, Grant. So... he was bad. Who were we even talking about? Vernon Goldston? And D. Milner, too. We were talking about him. Okay. So, yeah, we talked about Kyle Brady. I mean, that one was, like, unanimous. Jets fans at Radio City Hall were going berserk. I mean, literally chanting, "We want Sapp. We want Sapp." And they're, like, loud enough for the televised broadcast to pick it up. Like, they were shouting for this man's name. And that's not common. Like, teams don't typically just chant a player's name. No. Jets fans were unanimous that year, and they took tight end Kyle Brady.
Yep.
Huge miss. Terrible miss.
It was horrible. Really never.
Just imagine what our defense could have been with him in the early 2000s. He was a really great player, and late 90s. Excuse me, because he was drafted like 90s, yeah. He was like 94, 95, something like that.
Yeah, because Kelly was on the team before 2000 season.
Mephitron.
Joe, man.
Oh, yeah, disaster. Here it is. Darren Lee was another disaster. Yes.
Dude, Joe's on a roll right now.
Yeah, you're getting them good. All right, so I think we can probably move off this list. We hit. Oh, we have one more. Sorry. You wrote this name.
Hit it.
Dwayne Robertson out of Kentucky.
Dwayne Robertson. Who remembers that? POS.
Drafted 4th overall. I actually remember this draft. The Texans had the 3rd pick, and they took Andre Johnson, who I really, really wanted. The Jets should have made a trade to get up and get him. Andre Johnson was a stud out of Miami, and the Jets really probably could have made the move if they really, really wanted to. Instead, they traded up for a defensive tackle that had a bum knee coming out of college. I did the research, and you can too. God. So listen, I might even put it in the description of this video.
Embarrassing.
Terry Bradway knew that he had a bone-on-bone condition in his knee. This is true.
Yeah, I remember this.
He had a bone-on-bone issue going on in one of his knees, and it was known that he was not going to last. And that's exactly what happened.
How many seasons did he play? 3, I think.
No, it was more than that. And he had a couple of okay years. But, man, they took him and they knew that. Terry Bradway knew that. That's
He
crazy.
just thought there would be a more immediate benefit than what ended up happening.
Kyle Wilson was so bad. Terrible. Penalty machine. Just awful. Grant Rude, I remember the Sapp chant. The entire football world knew Sapp was going to be a beast except the Jets. Yeah, I have another name that's going to piss everybody off. Brian Thomas out of UA.
Ooh, who remembers that?
Out of UAB.
Oh, I got one after you, though.
The Jets drafted him, and my brother and I looked at each other and said, oh my God, Ed Reed out of Miami. He fell to us.
That's right.
And he was snatched up right after the Jets. I think it was like 22 or 21, something like that. And the Jets had a need at safety. And they passed on Ed Reed,
at that ship
Hall
as
of
a pass
Famer.
guy.
And they needed him. And it was like obvious. Ed Reed should have been a
But
Jet.
Ed Reed would have become a Hall of Famer even if he wasn't drafted by Baltimore.
He was a stud.
How about this one, chat? Quentin Copeles, drafted 2012. Who remembers that glorious pick?
Yeah, North Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
Yep. He had that you remember that burn mark he had on his arm?
Yeah, dude. That remember me? You
was
were
the
like,
brand.
wow, you imagine getting that?
Yeah, so Quentin Copeles, if you ever look up a picture of, just say Quentin Copeles and type the word brand next to it. He has a burn mark.
Massive.
An intentional burn mark on his arm that's like...
It's like a horseshoe.
It's very, very bad looking. And he's going to have that his whole life. That's the thing. When he got that, he knew he was getting that his whole life. Oh,
Look, I'm not gonna lie. When we saw it, and you can lie, but we said that looks pretty badass.
No, I don't like it at all.
No, I remember talking to you about it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I said, man, we should do that, and you said,
no way, no way. We swing and miss on bad players, then let good players walk. Demario Davis. I don't know who David is, or David J. Not sure who that is. And then Adams, yeah, we traded Adams away. I still think that was the right thing to do. Yeah, Copeles, complete bust, was supposed to be a pass rusher.
that's right, Joe.
Did not work out. I think it was a frat thing. It was. Yeah, at North Carolina State, it was a frat thing. He was in a fraternity, branded his arm permanently.
Yeah. What does Michelle know about fraternities?
She knows. Even Jamal Adams, who everyone thinks is amazing, still has yet to pick off a starting quarterback. Yeah, Jamal Adams is not
He almost had his first.
He's not a very good cover safety. He's a blitzing linebacker, tackle in the box kind of guy.
He has a lot of physicality.
I feel like he should be a 4-3 outside linebacker. I feel like he'd be better at that position.
He's got the muscle mass for it.
Dude, he blitzes like a maniac. The brand was a horseshoe, the logo from his school. Yes. Yeah.
So that's that.
And it's atrocious looking.
Grant and I are going for the weakest link.
Yes. How about stop reaching and go for players like Gastineau who are hungry?
Ooh.
Listen, man, Trey Hendrickson's my guy. Listen, Jason Rhodes, if you look up Trey Hendrickson from the Saints, he's not exactly the same pass rusher because I think Gastineau is a more speedy guy on the edge. But Trey Hendrickson is a physical dude and would really, I think he's got that like hair on fire mentality where he is just going to go ballistic to get after the quarterback like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joe, I have the exact same opinion. It is disgusting. It just looks like a floppy vulva. That's what I think personally. Anyway.
He's lying though. We both said it was badass. I'm just going to say right now.
Oh, there it is. There's the comment. Weakest link. Need I mention Sewell at 2 again?
You know what, Grant? Why'd you call into this line? Let's talk. Let's talk it out.
Yeah, Jason Rhodes. Trey Hendrickson is my guy. Him and Curtis Samuel both. I would love them so badly in free agency. They would be absolutely fantastic free agent signings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, Michelle. Didn't mean to go there. I am actually out of topics. That is the show for tonight. We still have our number up there.
Yeah, line's open.
We are on the line. We can stay on here for another 15 minutes or so. Bullshit with you guys if you want to.
Let's mention two things that you failed to do. What do you say?
I just love this.
What do we got?
Sewell at 2. Huge mistake!
Jason, you want to come at me too, bro?
George Fant, Mekhi Becton.
So that's a challenge to both Grant and Jason. call the line. Let's talk it out.
And this is the perfect way to summarize that draft bust. And soon to be on this list, Sam Darnold. Agreed.
Oh, Joe, come on, man.
He knows how to end a
Come on,
segment.
you can't go negative already. We've lived in negative for so long, man. It doesn't mean that we breathe that water.
Grant Rude, no worries, dude. We would love to have you on the line. There's no obligation. We are here.
What he said?
He said maybe he'd call in one day. He said he's got kids and they're pretty needy while he's trying to watch the show.
Anytime, man. I still love you, Grant.
Yep, I'll battle you.
Your arrows. I brushed them off like that, and then when I take this off, it's nothing but love.
Penny Sewell would be a disaster. Yeah.
Is that you or is someone in the chat?
I'm saying that. Everybody disagrees.
I hear that from you all the time.
Everybody
disagrees. Just like I hear all the mom jokes and everything else.
All right, guys. That's probably going to do it for this episode.
Yep, I'll battle
Episodes.
Jason, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Who do you think? Which man is going to leave, Jason? This man. This man is going to leave.
Thank you again. Whoa. Thank you so much for watching, for coming back to our stream after it just completely
We got
died.
back up to 10, and that I'm shocked. I really appreciate it. That means you guys are actually concerned about us. And then just be like, well, that's good. On to the next.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Yeah, he says, I'm with you. I'm putting my kids to bed. If you draft Sewell, then you have to agree that Becton moves to right tackle, right? Yeah, and I don't like that idea because that might upset. We don't know what that's going to do for Becton. That might piss him off, kind of like the situation that's going on in Baltimore. They've got, I think its name's Orlando Brown.
I want to go on record to say that if I could go back and change the pick, I would, but I felt like I was not practicing what I was preaching.
Dude,
and it was through you guys and through your astute opinions where I've somewhat moved on from the free agent opportunity.
George Fant's a good right tackle.
But if the Dak situation would have worked out differently, I would have been still much more aggressive with forming our front line.
Fair to say. All right.
I want to point out Jason Rose. You guys are great. You're great, Jason. You're great. We appreciate you guys. You especially have been in the chats multiple times. Love you, man.
Yep, we appreciate the support, guys. That's going to be it for us. We will see you guys next Wednesday, and be on the lookout. Trey Hendrickson videos coming out on Saturday, and then Sunday there's going to be a video for the guard out of the Washington football team. His name is evading me at the moment. Brandon Scherf, sorry.
And 30 days out, the stream scene will be updated with a countdown clocker to the draft.
I like that idea.
Really want you guys to come in, watch us. We're gonna try to stream the entire draft.
Yep.
Whether we can show you the draft in stream is going to be a TBD because we don't want to get flagged and you can't watch us at all. And what